to Awesome Definition, and I'm about to talk about TNA Emergence today. And then the first match, we have Leon Slater versus Cedric Alexander for the X Division Championship. And it was a pretty fun match to start up the show. I didn't think the show was going to be this long because I never watched Emergence before, but it was a pretty fun show. And it started up really good with Leon Slater and Cedric Alexander, and Leon Slater retained his X Division champion in a pretty great match. Trick Williams and First Class having an interview in Emergence. Hey, it was a pretty funny interview. I don't know, these three have pretty good chemistry with each other. Trick Williams, talking trash. First Class talking trash, getting ready for their match, and Trick Williams getting ready for their main event. So we'll see what happens between all of them and see what happens if they win or lose right now. But yeah, pretty funny promo between Trick Williams and First Class. Match, we have First Class versus the System. It was actually longer than I thought it was going to be, but a lot of interference was happening in the match with Order 4. But First Class took advantage of everything that was going on with Mufasa Ali group, and First Class took the dub, and AJ Francis posed it up like a dog. I don't know. He looked mad serious, and especially this picture that I'm giving him right now. But looking like First Class is winning a lot of stuff, especially with their new Roderick and Trick Williams. So yeah, it's looking good for First Class right now. We have Mike Santana versus Sammy Calloway, and this is where this match gets a little sad. But before that, Mike Santana and Sammy Calloway agreed that it was going to be a Baltimore street fight match, so it made the match a little more exciting. But we knew if Sammy Calloway lost this match, he will retire. And then guess what happened? Mike Santana beat Sammy Calloway. And then Sammy Calloway had to put his boots on the ring, and he's done with TNA and done with his wrestling career. I know it sucks. He's only like 37 years old right now, so I guess you end the career, pretty young, like some people do. And yeah, good luck to Sammy Calloway's future. Now that Sammy Calloway is now retired after the match with Mike Santana, the TNA wrestlers came and gave Sammy Calloway his farewell, his respect and everything. Joe Henry came, the Rascals came, Eddie Edwards came, and everybody was trying to respect Sammy Callahan. But guess who wasn't respecting Sammy Callahan? Eric Young. Eric Young started talking trash, talking about, is this even real? Don't even believe Sammy Callahan. Then he started confronting Joe Henry. So I'm assuming Joe Henry and Eric Young, this is going to be a new rivalry that's going to happen in TNA right now. But Eric Young was not respecting Sammy Callahan, his farewell and his retirement. And Joe Henry had to confront him. But after that, Eric Young left. And then, Joe Henry gave him a hug. And, see what happens in Sammy's career and see what happens with Joe Henry and Eric. So on our next match, we have it for the TNA Knockout Tag Team Champion. And there was a lot of different women in this match. It was pretty exciting because during the match, JC Jane was there, Masha was there, and Ash by Elegant were fighting, and they have a match at NXT Heat Wave. And I'm excited to see how that match is going to be. But for this match, it was really good because it was a lot of chaos. But unfortunately, they retain Elegant by Brand. I was looking forward to somebody else. Good that Fatal Influence didn't win, because then it would have been another person in NXT that would have won a TNA championship, and I don't think that would have been great for TNA because WWE's taking all their belts right now, so that would have been funny. But Elegant Brand retained their champions, and I wonder what we're gonna see in the future with JC Jane and Masha and Ash by Elegant. In our next match, we have Steve Macklin versus Jake something. Still a funny name, Jake something right now for the international championship. And out of all the matches, this match was a little bit the most boring match, to be honest, in my opinion. But it was still a solid match because it was like no countdown, and it was a lot of street fighting. But in the end of the day, Steve Macklin retained his TNA International Championship, and then Frankie got involved because he was in commentating, and he also was interrupting him when Steve Macklin was doing an interview. So I'm assuming Steve Macklin has a future rivalry with Frankie for the international championship. So we'll see what happens with that. We have the Hardys versus the Rascals for the TNA World Tag Team Championship. And this match was really good. I'm impressed how the Hardys boys still have an incredible match. Like they're not like around like 50 years old. Like they're still got gas to keep going, and the Rascals are also like incredible, like they were in NXT, and like how they still are in TNA right now. So they had amazing chemistry with each other. I thought the Rascals were going to win because the Hardy Boys are gonna have a match in Bound for Glory with the Dudley Boys, and that might be the retirement match for the Dudley Boys. So I didn't think that they needed the championship for that, but it looked like the Hardys still retain, and maybe they're gonna fight the Nemeth brothers in the future because that's what Nick Neyman wants to do. So we'll see what happens with the future of this TNA tag team division right now. But the Hardys still are TNA championships, and the Rascals did a phenomenal job in this match. And yeah, let's see what happens in the next match in the main event. But before the main event, we have first class penthouse AJ Francis, and I don't know what his name is in TNA, but him first class and the system had to go back to back because AJ Francis was talking how he was from Baltimore, Maryland, but then started talking trash about Baltimore, Maryland. So that's pretty funny, to be honest. Then the system came for no reason because they're not from Maryland. Then we have the Baltimore Ravens, Poe, like the mascot that game, and started, confronting AJ Francis. I thought this was a pretty funny segment between the Baltimore Raven, Poe, and AJ Francis and the first class and the system. It was funny interactions between them and how he was setting the fans up. I thought this was a fun way to set up to the main event. So yeah, let's go to the main event. Let's talk about the main event. Main event, we have the TNA World Champion Trick Williams versus Moose. And wow, what a main event we had here. There was a lot of different shenanigans that was going on in this match. Trick Williams at first had a little promo to talk about the crowd, saying that the the only bird that we support is the Philadelphia Eagles. So Maryland wasn't too happy with that because the they're supporting with their Ravens. So Trick Williams had to talk a little trash before the match started, but Moose started going ham on Trick Williams. There's a lot of spears. Trick Williams hit him in the announce table. It was getting like crazy. And then of course the ref got hit, and then Trick Williams had to do a little cheating, and then Moose had this injury, this shoulder injury before the match, and Trick Williams did the trick shot on him on the shoulder, and then a trick shot to his face. So now we still have a WWE person still holding the TNA championship because he just retained after doing the trick shot to Moose. So I wonder who's gonna take this title from Trick Williams. It obviously has to be somebody from TNA, but we're gonna see who is next for Trick Williams. That was a pretty great match, and this little live special TNA Emergence was really good. Like I didn't know it was gonna be as long as it was, but every match was really good. Besides, I didn't really like the international championship match, to be honest, with Jake something. But besides that, incredible event. And that is all we have for today. If you like what we're doing, you can follow us on TikTok, on Facebook, and subscribe on our YouTube page. And we'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.